Hi there everyone, and welcome to another one of these Squeezebox advent calendars. We've reached day 20 of the whole project, and yes, that does mean I'm on my 20th melodeon of the whole thing. So without further ado, we'll see what it is. Here you go. This is a Hohner Erika, but Erika with a K. Club model. So the one known as a Hohner Erika with a C is a sort of black or red finished instrument normally, and those are more modern Hohner ones. These are an earlier Hohner club model called the Erika, and they're just really nice 2.5 row small club boxes, quite basic, but with a very similar sort of shape and design to a Pokerwork, and so they're kind of quite sought after really on the English playing scene. Now what can I tell you about this one? Well, yes, as you can see, it's got a slightly different grill to the Pokerwork there, but it's clearly a predecessor of the modern Pokerwork grill. The buttons, like a Pokerwork again, are the more simple flat sort of mushroom shaped buttons, and there's a raised piece of wood up here to take the second row of bases, so you've got a distinction between the two. It's in the key of E and A, which is a really useful key for a DG player to have, taking everything just up one tone. And I'm delighted to say that I bought it with the keyboard layout already tuned to my my normal Saltarell layout, so I had absolutely no problem finding where all the extra notes are on the right hand. And so yeah, that was a bit of a bonus. Of course it's all transposed up one tone though, so that makes this instrument very useful for playing in the key of F sharp minor, which sometimes actually does I do get asked to play in that, but it's really to make a nice comfy home key. You can play an A on a DG box quite easily, but it doesn't have the same flow of playing in either of the home keys. And so I sometimes like to play song accompaniments, especially with lots of nice chords, in A on this one. And of course you've got the outer row D transposes to E on this instrument from a DG box, and that so that gives you a key that you wouldn't normally have. And if you play in the fingering you'd normally get for A, you've got B major, which I don't get asked to play a lot, I have to say. But anyway, that's the reason I have this. It's the third of the boxes I've ever had in E and A, and they've always been slightly different from my main sets of boxes in their sound, and this one's no exception. It's got quite a bright tremolo on the right hand side, but we'll see that when we play it. But first let's take you inside the box and see how it's put together. So here we have the Hohner Erika in EA, and yes, we'll start off by doing some dismantling. So the front grille, pretty standard affair to take off with the two little hooks there, and yeah, you can see it's it doesn't have an extra row of pallets to accommodate the extra 4 buttons. They're incorporated into the main bit of the keyboard. Gives it a very Pokerwork-like feel in terms of the size. So getting inside the instrument, it's going to be a case of the 4 pins, and we're in. So inside here we have 2 reed blocks, each one is for its own particular row of pallets, but it means that when you're actually looking to do tuning, you have to actually count the pallets rather than the buttons on a row. So the 4th reed on a reed block doesn't necessarily correlate to the 4th reed on a row, because you've got that half row to worry about. Okay, let's have a look inside. Now here's something that's a bit different from Pokerworks. The later Pokerwork doesn't have these ways of holding the blocks in. It's just a screw of metal with a little raised bit that you can use your thumb to go in the unscrewing direction. Never try and undo them by going in clockwise screwing direction. And the block should just lift out, he says. this one. So there you have it. This is clearly a fairly unusual arrangements of reeds, and the waxing has not been done. It looks like I've done it. I didn't do it, but yeah, my waxing's not the best either. So professional waxers don't leave rough edges down the sides of the reeds like this, whereas people like me who would use something like a heated soldering gun or something like that to do it, quite often leave these sort of bits that are ragged around the edges, and you've got to be a bit careful with those, because if any of this wax breaks off and gets stuck in a reed at any point down the line, then it's going to stop the reed from sounding properly. Yeah, so we've got an Italian reed on this side, but there's a Hohner, a different kind of reed with a different kind of rivet on it. It looks more like a Hohner one, but it hasn't got the H on. So some of these have got Hohner H reeds, some have got unbranded reeds. There's a T reed there, it's another kind of Hohner reed. So it's a whole hodgepodge of different reeds been used for this one. But actually, you'd never know that really to listen to it. It just sounds like a quite coherent box. So yeah. Pop the reeds back in. So I'll have a quick look in the left hand of this one, because it's quite an iconic constructed box. So another 4 pins to take the base mechanism off. And we'll place the bellows base side down so we know where they are. Okay, well, first thing, we've got an idea where this originally came from. There's the sign there, says Max Autoroder, Stuttgart, Hauptstadtstraße 5355. So it's from a place called Music and Radio House. That's very of its time. So to look inside the left hand, the first thing you'll notice is on these base reed blocks there are some missing reeds. Now that's because this has had its thirds taken out, and it's not the way I'd normally do it if it was an instrument that already had all its reeds. I'd normally do it using tape to just silence individual reeds. But what must have happened on this box when it was retuned to E and A from its original tuning is that all of the reed plates have been replaced, and normally on Hohners the third in the chord isn't always on the same reed plate both sides, so they can be a little tricky to take out with tape. You have to actually tape the single reed down and allow the valve to open on the other side, or tape the valve down and allow the reed to go. But in this one, they've been replaced with ones where the thirds are always on the same plates, I think, and therefore the reeds have just been taken out entirely. And when you operate the buttons, there's something to stop the air flowing through the hole that would have come. There's an air button mechanism there. This is different to a Pokerwork. It's a push air button like that. I actually prefer that type of air button to the switch type, but they're kind of interchangeable. And then there's a few other things to say on it. These reed blocks on the left hand are held in the same way as the ones on the right hand, with these screws with a little hook to do it by hand. All the bellows holding straps and things have been changed to this light tan coloured leather, and this is a popper rather than just a simple hook that goes over a pin or a screw in the other side. Very much Pokerworky technology in there. Right, let's stick it back together again and play something on it. Lovely sort of little period patterns on as well. I really like that sort of stencil design on the wood. Okay, so we're all back together again, and all we need to do is go off and play some tunes on the Hohner Erika. Okay, so let's find out what this sounds like. So yes, you shouldn't be surprised to hear that the left hand does sound very much indeed like a Pokerwork. Now this has had the reeds doctored, so it takes the thirds out. I haven't got a stop arranged on this left hand, and a very Hohnery right hand as well. So as I said, all my 4 extra buttons on the half row are very conveniently came when I bought it second hand with my layout already on it. So someone, I think, had seen the layout that I posted up on Melnet years ago and chosen to have my layout on it, or it was just randomly the same, I don't know. So yes, I'll get on and play you a tune, because apart from being in a slightly brighter pitched key, there's not much different to say about this. 2-voice right hand, no stops to change anything. You can see it's a working instrument because it's got my magnet stuff on there, and I use this a lot. So normally I would put an advert at this point on the YouTube video, but today on the Squeezebox Advent Calendar we are sponsored, and our sponsor today is a concert that you can come and see. It's called the Jackie Oates and John Spiers Christmas Concert. We've recorded it already, and it's going to be going out at 8 o'clock on Tuesday the 22nd of December, and it's all Christmas based material, and I play this box on it as well for one of the tracks. And so yes, if you go to my website johnspiers.co.uk, go to the gig list, it's down there listed as one of the gigs, one of the 2 gigs remaining this year, and you can get tickets and be sent a link to come and see the gig that's broadcast direct from Oxfordshire to the world. There you go. Sponsorship break over. So I will play you a tune, and I'm going to try and think of something I can do in the key of E major, because I don't get to play in E major very often. So yeah, you might recognise this one. It's supposed to be getting close to Christmas now. There you go. I hope that's got you feeling a bit more festive. I'll see you in the next one.